latest edition of the Get to Know Your Tennessee District Deputy. As always, I am your host, Justin LaGrange. Worthy District Deputy, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please introduce yourself, tell us what district you represent, and the names and the councils, and the name of the councils and their location.
Okay, Justin. Well, thank you for inviting me to do this interview. And my name is Stephen Freund, and I am District Deputy number 6. I represent the councils in Dixon, which is St. Christopher's Parish, 8241. Centerville, which is with Christ the Redeemer, that is 13167. And I also handle Ashland City, which is St. Martha's, 11742. And Montgomery County, which in Clarksville, and that's at Immaculate Conception, and that's Council 3537.
Great. And tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I just turned 70 years old on February 12th, Abraham Lincoln's birthday. So I get to legitimately call myself a senior citizen or a seasoned citizen. I was born in a little town on the Mississippi River in Clinton, Iowa. I was born and raised there. I was born in 1952 in Clinton. I attended Clinton High School. From there, I had a scholarship to play football at Whiteside College in Wisconsin, but I had an accident where I hurt my right knee, and that kind of went down in flames. So I had to make some choices, and at that time, there was a small college in my hometown that was a converted convent, Mount St. Clair, that had just gone coeducational. I was one of the first males invited to study at Mount St. Clair. There was a group of about 11 of us guys, and the rest were all young women. So it was quite an experience to go to that school. I went to Mount St. Clair for 2 years. Got my associate's degree there, and also met my future wife there, who was an exchange student. From Mount St. Clair, I went to the University of Iowa, graduated there with a degree in communications. After my graduation, my wife was from Mexico City, Mexico. I went to Mexico City. We got married that September after graduation. I lived in Mexico City for 10 years after that. I worked in the wine industry as a wine importer, exporter, and selling to the local markets throughout the country. Like I said, I lived in Mexico City for 10 years. When I had finally had 2 daughters in Mexico, we decided it was time to come back to the States. So we moved to California at that time. Moved to San Diego, stayed there for a year and a half, total of about 3 years actually, in San Diego. At that time, they began the California State Lottery, and they were looking for bilingual persons to work with their organization. And obviously, I qualified for that, had the sales background, went to work for the California State Lottery, and worked for them for 30 years. Retired as a corporate sales manager. They moved me several times during my stint with them throughout the state. Finally ended up in Ventura County, north of Los Angeles, and that's where I retired from. My son met a girl in Tennessee and wanted to come and be with her, and I'd never been to Tennessee, and I helped him move out here in 2012. And once I crossed the line and came into Tennessee, I fell in love with it and said, this is where I want to retire. So I moved to Tennessee in 2014, I'm sorry, and I've never looked back.
That's great. Now, what made you, first of all, how did you becoming a district deputy come along, and what made you want to accept the position?
Well, let's see. I've been a knight since 1985. Became a knight when I was in San Diego, and the reason I wanted to do that was because I just wanted to be a good example to my children. And at that time, my wife was pregnant with our youngest, who is my son. And the timing was perfect for me to become a knight. I came to like I say, to Tennessee, and we bought our home here in Burns. Started going to St. Christopher's Church and was invited to join the Knights there. And I became their Grand Knight within a year. And I did Grand Knights. I served as Grand Knight for 3 years at St. Christopher's. And after 3 years, it was my thought that, you need to change people every once in a while to keep it fresh. And I was looking to pass the baton along to somebody a little bit younger. My deputy Grand Knight, Robert Shonley, seemed to fit what I was looking for. He decided to run for the Grand Knight and took over the positions. I stayed on, obviously, as as a trustee. Obviously, I moved into the trustee position, but also as a mentor to Robert. So after that, I kind of sat on my laurels for about 6 months. And I received a call from the State Deputy Mike McCusker, who had told me that due to illness, the current district deputy for District 6 had an illness and was going to need to step down, and wanted to know if I would be willing to fill that slot. In my mind, being a knight means service, and so I accepted. I said, "Yep, I'll do it. I'm going to need some training, but I'll do it." And so I've been doing that now. This is my 3rd year in the DD position.
Great. And kind of as we close here, and again, thank you so much for joining us. I know we've been kind of playing with our schedules, so I appreciate you stepping down and sitting down with us. What makes your councils in your district unique that stand out? Maybe a little bit about each council that maybe lets them stand out over the rest of the councils in the state.
Okay, I'm going to answer this, and you're probably not going to like the answer, but what makes them stand out? I'm going to tell you absolutely nothing. And that's not a derogatory statement. If anything, the men in my district and in each of the council, I think, represent the archetypical knight and a Catholic gentleman and what they should be. They love their church. They love their faith. They want to serve the church and the community. They want to serve their brothers. They're always ready to step into the breach, and I'm just extremely proud of what they represent. And like I say, when I say there's nothing, that doesn't mean I just think highly of the Knights, and anybody that can live up to that, up to the expectations we have of Knights, to me, have my admiration.
Well, great. Again, thank you so much for sitting down with us. Is there anything that we didn't cover about your councils? Maybe do they do some special kind of events that you would like to speak out and let the rest of the state know about, maybe an event that each council does?
Well, each of them have their specialties. For example, here in Dixon and St. Christopher's, we do the county fair every year. We have our own booth there that is permanently ours. And we are a mainstay of that fair. People come and look for us because we're such good chefs, okay, and ambassadors of the Funnel Cake Society, I would tell you. But they do come to see us, and that is one of our main fundraisers for the year for them. Centerville, or you're looking at Hickman County, the Grand Knight there, Bob Joseph, he's got a very, very small group of people, but they're continually working, doing everything that parish needs to survive. They have a traveling priest that comes. They do not have a priest on duty all the time at the church. So the Knights pick up the slack and they maintain that church. They are the ones that handle all of the ushering. They do all of the paperwork for them. They take care of the grounds. And on top of that, they're an older group. Most of the guys in that group, I would say, are in their 70s and above. They love what they do, and they're a great group. Ashland City just had their 25th anniversary of being a council. They've had some challenges. Joe Coffin, who is the the Grand Knight there, and a personal friend of mine who was a knight at St. Christopher's for a long time has taken the reins and is working very diligently right now with them. They are also very tied with the Vietnamese community. They do a lot of activities with them. They really enjoy working with that group, and they're trying to incorporate them if they can into the Knights, or maybe have a roundtable with as Vietnamese with the Knights. Clarksville, I can't say enough about Clarksville. That would be Immaculate Conception. Once again, I said that they have Fort Campbell right there. So most of the Knights there are military, ex-military, retired military. We do have some college students from Austin Peay, which is the university in Clarksville. These men know how to get a job done. You give them a goal, and they're out there and they're doing it. So each and every one of my councils are unique in some way, but they're similar in others. So I'm just proud to be able to represent each and every one of them.
Well, again, thank you so much, Worthy, for all the hard work you do for your councils in the state and your dedication. We always appreciate the great work the district deputies do. So again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for all the hard work that you do.
Thank you, Justin. Good to see you.